Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Bowl Ridden Podcast. As always, I am Frank Sharoni. This is Josh Vargas.
Yes, hello. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm making a pretty good weekly appearance here now.
Your attendance has been on point.
A lot better than it was when I was going to college.
That is true. That is true. All right, this is the seventh edition then of the 2026 College Football Player Profile preview with me, Frank, and Josh, where we have been previewing, profiling four different players each week, one from offense, one from defense. We each come with a player to make a total of four. This week we are on wide receivers and DBs, which we already hit once, but I brought a guy that I wanted to do the first time, but remember I said I couldn't do all Big Ten in a row, but I did come with two Big Ten guys. But needless to say, I got two guys that I'm pretty excited to talk about.
Yeah, me as well too. I got one guy I know for a fact that I know me and you know very well. I feel like he's not really a household name, but he's gonna be a game changer where he's at now. So I can't wait to talk about him.
Speaking of going to class too, a guy that we had a class with and maybe wasn't in class all the time either, not to blow his spot. But if you want to lead off with him, go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go Kenny Johnson. Kenny Johnson's a receiver for he was a receiver for the Pitt Panthers. He's very, very good. He's now gonna be playing at Texas Tech, just transferred over. Uh I think the big thing for him, his numbers aren't really like phenomenal. Uh he's typically around like last season, he had 48 receiving yards, 695 48 receptions, 695 yards, five touchdowns. I think though the difference with him though is that he's coming into Texas Tech and he's basically 4-year starter when he's going to show up. He's played every single game since he's been at Pitt. Um, what's exciting about him is that he like every so often like when we do give him the ball, he has like breakout games.
Yeah,
Like he had multiple 100-yard games last season. He's like a on paper he says he's only 6'1", 205. He kind of looks bigger to me. I don't know. That was kind of like surprising, but where he makes the difference in the game is not just in the receiving game, it's actually at the return spot. He's a guy that has multiple kick returns. He basically gives you about two or three a year. He was like an off and on punt returner, but with Texas Tech being how good their defense is, I think you could see him playing a lot of being a good punt returner there for them and basically flipping the field because he's a really really talented returner. So that's what like I'm excited to see him play in this Texas Tech offense. It is gonna be weird now, like how their offense is gonna function without.
yeah.
Well,
Who's throwing him the football?
exactly. So it's like it is gonna be different, but it's really not anything other than like he hasn't experienced at Pitt. It's not like he had outside of Mason Heinschattel his last season, like the last like what 7 games. He basically has never had a quarterback in his career that's been able to like actually give him the ball.
Yeah, and he's dealt with multiple quarterbacks, so that won't be something new to him. If
Right.
because what he probably spent spring ball with Sorsby.
Yeah, he probably spent probably he was catching passes from short all spring ball, and then you think about it like Pitt, you had Eli, and then you had him. I mean, I think in 2023 this kid was catching passes from Christian Valaire.
Yeah, I was trying to think who it was back then. Holy shit.
Like this guy's been like he's had a lot of different quarterbacks throwing the ball, so I think him being a veteran is definitely going to be a big factor. But yeah, like this is a guy though. Like when you look at him, he was he was always a standout receiver, and he was in the mix with like guys that weren't huge names, but were still NFL talents, like Kanata Mumfield, Bub Means,
Hmm.
those guys, like Gavin Bartholomew, who's with the Vikings, a tight end. Like you look at the Pitt receiving core over the last year, they've sent a lot of guys to the NFL, and he's like consistently played with them. So I think like I think he still has a chance in the NFL regardless, but I think a good season at Texas Tech you could potentially see him getting drafted, not just being an undrafted free agent. So
I think the one reason you and I mean I completely agree are not as like as super high on him is because last year I think was not a dud. I mean, he still had a great year, but I think he had very high expectations going into the season. Being a guy that had played for 2 years already, spent a year in that Cade Bell offense, then he didn't explode like people thought. But like you said, he's played a ton of football, and he's the type of guy that anytime he touches the football, usually it's a big play or something exciting happens.
Right, and then, that's what it is. But when you look at it, what he did, so like the thing with me for him is he hasn't really performed in one of those big games. It's kind of like the
Shit,
same
no
thing that
one on Pitt has.
right, exactly. It's like it's the same thing that like has happened with Cade Bell, and his offense, what we talked about last week on that episode, uh, or was it 2 weeks ago, whatever
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was.
plays into that.
But regardless, like you think about like even like Florida State this season, Pitt goes to Florida State when they were ranked at this point, upset them. Uh, he only had one reception. It was a big play, but it was 42 yards. It's only one reception the entire game. That's kind of shocking. Notre Dame this season, he had 4 catches for 27 yards. Like, yeah, and that you're talking about a guy probably he's catching bubbles and slants. And then Miami was
You're killing my point that something exciting happens every time he touches the ball. Fuck.
no, but like I know, but like it's not that does he does do stuff when he has the ball in his hands like it's tough to like look at it when you look at it from the statistics. It's like the only way you can watch it is like the only way like it makes sense if you actually watch him play football, if that
Yeah,
makes sense. It's
yeah,
kind of like one of those things where it's like, yeah, like statistically, it doesn't look like he's being like it doesn't look like he's doing a ton, but he is like the number one receiver. He's getting the most attention because teams know that when he has the ball in his hand, he's gonna go like he has a chance to score a touchdown every play.
yeah, for sure. I think just that kind of stuck with me probably because he was a freshman our last year there, and he probably rarely touched the ball then, but playing as a true freshman and when he did touch the ball then, kick returns and stuff, it felt like I don't know, it felt like something exciting to me.
Yeah, and that was the thing too. Like he also has like something unique about him that like was kind of weird. Is his freshman year he was getting like he was getting some handoffs too,
Yeah.
kind of like on Jets stuff like that. Like they kind of like were throwing him a little bit over the field.
He's like a gadget guy.
Right, and then that kind of like fell off over the last 2 years, and you don't really know if like that's like because he just was like solidified as more of a receiver, or if he just did like, or if like the complete game change playing. But like that's something too. Like he's not massive. He is 6'1", 205. Like this is a guy you could just kind of throw in at spots and have him play. So I mean that'll be interesting with Texas Tech how they decide to use him if he's going to be a true receiver or if he's going to be able to like move around, play some in the backfield. You never know.
Yeah, tough loss for Pitt, but will be exciting to see what he does down in Lubbock.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very excited to see how he does returning the ball. He's electric returning the ball. I think he had what's it called? Yeah, as a true freshman, he had like a 100-yard kick return against North Carolina.
Yeah, he's had multiple for touchdowns right at Pitt.
Yeah, he had his. I think it was like in his second game, he literally took one back, and then he has. I think he has over 1,000 total kick return yards over his like career. Like he's just like a guy that literally he goes absolutely nuts.
And that's something that flies under the radar when you pick up guys like that in the portal when you look at them as just a receiver, but you don't think about what effect they have on special teams too.
Right. So that's something that's going to be cool for Texas Tech, especially being how good that defense is going to be.
Yep. All right, I'll go ahead with mine then. I'm going with wide receiver Iverson Hooks. He is a redshirt senior at Oregon, but spent the last all 4 years of his college career so far at UAB. If you listen to this podcast during the season, you probably heard me talk about UAV's crazy offense, explosive offense, and Iverson Hooks was a big reason why. Their leading receiver in basically every main category. His first 3 years, he didn't really play much. I think it was his junior season. He started the year, played 3 games, and was doing all right as like the 2 or 3 option, and then had a season-ending injury. And then last year has a real breakout season for them. Gets second team all conference, 927 yards, 7 touchdowns. He's a smaller guy. He's only listed at 5'10", 175. But one thing I noticed when I watch him, the way he goes up and grabs and gets balls and is not afraid to take a hit when he does so. I mean, it kind of makes me think of him. I don't know if it makes me think that he's bigger, but I see him as a bigger receiver too. He makes a lot of contested catches like that, a lot of deep balls. He's very fast too, a great route runner. It just seems like he's always open. And one game I wanted to specifically point out, if you remember when UAB pulled off maybe the upset of the season last year.
It was one of the craziest upsets
Yeah,
that we've seen.
I mean, they were awful. They had their backup quarterback in too, but that upset was basically fueled by Iverson Hooks. He had 11 catches that game for 172 yards and 3 TDs.
Yeah, that's what I think is important for him to point out. Like I'm like if you disregard like the Tennessee game, because obviously Tennessee, their UAB is completely outmatched in that game, but you look at the big games that they had in their schedule: the Memphis, the UConn, the North Texas, yeah, and South Florida, and you look at that as a whole, and was it 3 out of those 4 games versus like what I would consider some of the best group of five competition? He's had basically 100 yards in all those games. The one outlier being UConn, who was just really good last year. Um, but I think though, like when you look at it, though, like it's he did go crazy against Memphis, but then like he also has the USF game,
Yeah,
where it goes for 146 yards, doesn't score a touchdown, but like every single game when you look at him, he's putting up 70 yards basically minimum. So he's like a spark plug. It's very very cool to see him. It's and you know what? It's gonna be very very intriguing to see him, in the new offense that he's gonna be in.
dude, Oregon's wide receiver room is kind of stacked.
Yeah, it's gonna be deep and they're gonna be really 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 good.
DeCorian Moore, Evan Stewart, Jeremiah McClellan, and then you add in Iverson Hooks. One thing I was kind of thinking about when looking at him and thinking of him in Oregon's offense, Oregon's a team that I like just receivers don't really come to mind as they've never really had. I feel like a stud standout receiver, but it's more like receiving room by committee where they just got like a ton of solid guys that maybe are flying under the radar because they're surrounded by so many other talented receivers. But this year's wide receiver room is looking stacked, and then you put them with arguably one of the best returning starters in college football, throwing him the ball, and Dante Moore.
Yeah, I think this Oregon offense is gonna be really good. And what's cool about Iverson Hooks is since he's so like he's like five was he 5'10", 175 is what he's listed at.
Yeah,
I mean, realistically, what are you 5'8",
yeah,
165
yeah,
probably
yeah.
then.
You're right.
So like I think what's cool about that is like when you see them in this Oregon offense, they're so creative in what they do. Like you're gonna see this guy basically play anywhere, and he's so quick and like fast that it doesn't matter like where he's gonna play, he's gonna be successful, especially with how good Oregon's offense is gonna be.
That raises another point. Good lead in. He played quarterback in high school, and he's thrown 2 passes at UAB. He's 2 for 2 for 88 yards. So do not be surprised to see him throw a pass for Oregon this season. Probably in a bigger game for them when you break out, the trick plays.
Yeah, I mean that's the team that like when you think about the cool stuff and how unique they're gonna be, it's like Oregon and Boise. Those are the two teams that come to mind. So it's gonna be cool what they can do with Iverson there.
New offensive coordinator, though. I'm not sure who it is, but they are one of the teams that lost both OCs and DCs.
Yeah, but that turnover is gonna happen there. That defense still is gonna be really really good too. So they're gonna have the ball a lot on offense.
Yeah. I remember watching that Memphis game, and I think I probably bet on Memphis live or something, and I was like, this guy could not be stopped.
Was that the week after Memphis just beat Arkansas too?
Yeah. Yeah, they were like
Yeah.
I think they were like in the front runner for the group of 5 playoff spot or right up there with USF, and then just laid an absolute egg.
Yeah, I'm almost positive I pulled the Arkansas bet. They
Yeah,
lose
I
to
remember
Memphis,
yes,
and
I
then
remember that.
I pulled the Memphis bet live, and then they lose to
Yeah,
UAB.
I remember that.
Unreal.
All right, we can head over now to the defensive side of the ball then with DB.
Yeah. My DB, hometown kid. His dad was my defensive back coach in high school. I know the kid personally. He's a great guy, great family. It's going to be John Nestor, Minnesota Gopher defensive back. All right. This kid is an absolute baller. Like, it's really the only way to describe him. He was what's something that's cool about him is he was at Iowa, and like Iowa was like, oh my God, we have the next Cooper DeJean.
Yeah, the next exciting white.
Yeah, that's what they thought. But then, like, out of nowhere, he says, I mean, granted, it was more of like not seeing the field as much as he hoped to. The kind of what it seemed like. But then he jumps into the portal and goes from Iowa to Minnesota. Something that you don't really see happen. So and he's that was probably the greatest thing for his career was jumping to Minnesota because he's like the premier defensive back. He does so much for that team. They play him all over the field. The big game that I like really wanted to point out was when they played. Was it
Wisconsin
Wisconsin? Yes, the Wisconsin game at the end of the year. So
snow
like,
game.
yeah, the Wisconsin game at the end of the year. It was just disgusting. It was absolutely grimy, and he goes into the game. He gets two picks, and then he didn't take one back, but he literally took it to like I think he took it to like what, the 5 yard line. It was something like that, and like he had two picks, completely changed the game. He also had seven total tackles, or seven solo tackles, nine total tackles in the game. But like, that's what's kind of cool about him is he has played corner, he has played safety. They kind of move him as their number one DB, kind of best matchup situation. But the nice part about him is like he's a tackler too. Like it's not like he's not afraid to come up and hit you. Like against Oregon, he had eight tackles. Obviously the Wisconsin game he had nine. Purdue he had seven. Ohio State, you had five, which you're not really seeing from a guy that's playing corner slash safety. So, but primarily a corner, I guess. That's going to be interesting there what they're going to do. But I have seen that he is potentially going to be a main returner for them.
Ah.
Yeah, so it'll be intriguing what they're going to do there. But he's a guy though, you got to watch him. He's a great kid. Comes from a great family. I love the Nestors. They're great people. But yeah, so I'm very excited. I got to talk about him, and I'm excited that he gets to play, the senior year again in the Big Ten, where he should have another phenomenal year.
I didn't know his dad coached you. I was reading up a little bit on him, and it said he took like a head coaching job somewhere.
Yeah, I haven't heard about him in a couple years, but so he He, so his kid was in like I think sixth grade. 'Cause what? He's 2 years younger than us, 3 years younger than us. Maybe I don't know. Whatever. Or his kid was in like I think a freshman. I don't know. Whatever it was. He was like a freshman when I was a senior, and his dad, um, I think maybe it was in eighth grade. I don't remember. Is it 4 years? I don't know.
I,
Regardless,
I
though,
don't know.
regardless, his dad though took like the defensive back job at my high school. My senior year. He was like, dude, he's awesome. He's just a great guy. And then ended up taking a defensive coordinator job at a school, like a Catholic school, like right up the street from like kind of where we are. And then I don't know. Then I really haven't heard too much about him. And then yeah, but I did actually see that not too long ago. I knew he was trying to get a head coaching job, so you know, hey, the Nestor, I told you, dude, great football family, great family.
Yeah, you got a personal connection here. He will be he'll have to be the premier guy in that secondary though, right? Because Coy, whatever Petrarch, however you say his last name, he's gone, right?
Yeah,
He
yeah, it's
transferred.
literally just gonna be him like as the only I think he's the only returning starter coming back on the defensive back side.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see Minnesota if they can. I don't know. I just feel like they're stuck. They're just stuck. And I mean,
Yeah, they're
it's
just
like eight.
stuck.
It's like 8, 9 wins. PJ Fleck had the 1 year, but they're a team that you can just chalk them up 7, 8, 9 wins every year. I feel like, and they'll be happy with that.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. This is also what I wanted to point out. John Nestor's dad too. He was a safety at Miami, Ohio. So like it is a family that comes from like DBs that have played like at the FBS level. So very, very, very cool stuff about that family.
Yeah, good nugget there. All right, I'll go with my DB then. I'm going with Michigan safety, switching over to the number one this year, Rod Moore. Now, this is a name you might be familiar with because he's been in college football for a long time, but you probably haven't seen his face in a while. He basically has not played the past 2 seasons, missed all of 2024 with an injury, missed basically all of last season with an injury, appeared in 3 games, but was just still not healthy coming back from an ACL tear that he suffered in the spring going into the 2024 season. But if you go all the way back to 2021 when he was a freshman, he actually got on the field for Michigan a lot in a very good defense, ended up starting at the end of the season and kind of took a spot of some guys in that secondary, like jumped them in the depth chart of some guys that had played for a while there. So I think that speaks a lot about, how he was as a freshman coming in, despite him not really being a big time recruit. So was solid that freshman season, comes back next year as a starter, has a great year, gets all Big Ten. Then as a junior, I would say his best season, not a full breakout season, 71 tackles, had 4 interceptions though, which led the team, got all Big Ten again, announces he's coming back for 2024 and was a real bummer when it was announced that he tore his ACL. He had, I think it was 2023, right, where he had the game-winning interception against Ohio State.
Yeah, yeah, it was like the ceiling interception.
Yeah, and then they go on to win the national championship. So we're talking about a guy that was a premier player on one of the best, arguably the best defense in the country, helped them win a national title. Huge news when he announces he's coming back, and then was just a major, major bummer when he suffered that torn ACL. Has been elected team captain though the past 2 seasons, despite not playing, which I think says a lot about him and his, presence in the locker room as a leader. He'll probably be a team captain again this upcoming season. Decided to come back despite the new coaching staff, but yeah, just an interesting name to throw out there because it's easy to forget about him because he hasn't played. But we're talking about a guy that coming into 2024, if he was healthy, arguably the best safety in college football.
Yeah, no, I think that's like a huge thing to point out, and like you're talking about probably a first round draft pick if he doesn't get hurt.
That's why people were wondering after 2024, like, is he even going to come back or is he just going to go to the draft? Because there were reports that he could possibly come back, and last year too when he played those 3 games, a lot of people were thinking like, hey, is this guy just kind of dogging Michigan and trying to get to the NFL?
Yeah, I mean, but I think it says more about him staying. He wants to improve that draft pick. It's kind of like that. You remember what happened with Eddie Jackson before he went to the NFL, where he like kind of just like his career is basically derailed at Alabama because he kept getting hurt so much. And look, he was a obvious first round draft pick that fell to like what the 4th round. I think the Bears got him in, and then goes to the NFL and absolutely balls. You kind of see like maybe he's trying to mitigate this a little bit more and get his draft stock higher because right now with all the injuries and everything, you don't see him being like a top 3 round guy.
I mean, it's a guy who hasn't played a football game in 3 years. You can't.
Right. So it's very interesting, but he's a phenomenal player, and it says a lot about his character staying through what I guess would be considered 3 coaching staff changes.
He's had this will be his 3rd different head coach, 4th different defensive coordinator. He goes all the way back to he played under Mike McDonald, who just won the
That's
Super Bowl.
like that's absurd.
Yeah,
Like when
that
you
was his
think about
freshman season.
you want to know what I always think about was Rod Moore the reason that RJ Moten's career got derailed?
That's what I was referring to a little bit there with him kind of taking the spot of some guys that had played a little bit. Didn't want to throw any names under the bus, but yes, RJ
I
Moten.
I mean, look, we're here to talk about college football. We're here to talk about names. I'm not throwing shade about anyone, but you know, RJ Moten I thought was a great player until he got burned at Florida like the first drive of the game, the first series of the game.
So bad.
Oh man, I will never. You know, what, Rod Moore, you're probably a great dude, man, but you probably ruined another kid's career, dude. What are you doing? Go ahead.
Poor RJ Moten.
How about a guy that was supposed to be really good for Michigan too?
I mean, he was until I don't know what happened, but
Until Rod Moore decided to be the best safety in the country.
yeah, not a bad backup plan.
No, not at all.
I mean, overall though for this season, you got to think how healthy is he? He's had the reason he kept missing more and more time. I guess he had to go for a second procedure, and then I think he had a third one this past January to kind of like sure things up. But I guess the initial injury was ACL, then had a meniscus issue. So I don't know. It's all about the health, which it's kind of hard to believe a guy can can be as good as he was, because he was very good when before the injury. But he said after this last procedure recently here that he's felt the best he has since the injury. So we'll see if he can get back to that level. Hopefully, he didn't do much in spring ball, if anything. But as a Michigan fan, I'm rooting for him hard as a guy, especially with him, sticking around the program the way he has.
Yeah, that'll be like the biggest thing for Whittingham too. Trying to get those veteran guys that just know how to play Michigan football. Will be interesting for them.
Maybe one of, I mean, I haven't looked at the whole roster, but maybe probably one of the only guys left from that end of the Harbaugh era when they were really dominant. And I mean, he goes way back, really, even too, all the way to 2021. So to have that presence in the locker room is big.
Right, yeah, so that turnover could be massive for them. Especially now that he's be playing and not sidelined with an injury. So
Hopefully
yeah,
playing.
hopefully. Knock on wood, but
Yeah.
he should be fine.
All right, that'll wrap up this seventh edition of the 2026 College Football Player Profile Preview with wide receivers and DBs. Any other names you want to throw out? Possibly, probably be the last time we do wide receivers DBs.
No, you know what? I think that's gonna be everything. Do you know RJ Moten is considered a linebacker in the NFL as a free agent right now?
What do you do researching RJ Moten?
I got intrigued. I was wondering
Has
what
he
happened
seen
to
Has
him.
he seen action in the NFL?
Uh, no.
I mean, he didn't really. He kind of got benched after that first game at Florida, right?
Yeah, he was like, I mean, he was one of the bigger names. I know actually it was kind of funny, like when he entered the portal, Pitt were like, we really wanted him at Pitt because we were struggling in the DB spots. How we're gonna fix him, and then he ended up, you know, there was some family things going on why we could have got him at Pitt, but he ended up though choosing Florida, and man, yeah, I feel like I don't even after that game. I think I remember him getting in like one more time and giving up another touchdown, and I think that like that was it.
Feel bad for the kid.
Now he plays
Just
linebacker though.
shitting
I
on.
guess
Yeah, now he's. I mean, he's a bigger dude. He's kind of built like a linebacker.
it is kind of big. Yeah, I mean, do you see him trying to run down the post route?
All right, that's it. That's enough. You don't need to throw any more dirt on RJ Moten's body.
I love you, RJ Moten. You know you he's a good player.
I thought he was very good at Michigan.
So did I.
Rod Moore was just better.
That's what it was. Ralph Moore was just better.
All right, any other receivers or DBs? Jeremiah Smith, maybe.
I mean,
No,
that's
I'm
just
kidding.
yeah. We're talking the obvious
I'm trying
here.
to find the next Skylar Bell.
You know,
Oh, what about the did he win Triple Crown last year or just yards? Scudero,
I think he went yards.
but he's at Colorado.
Yeah. The one thing that I'm intrigued about is what the hell's gonna happen with this Notre Dame receiving core. All we hear about is how good their quarterback is, how good this O line is, how good this defense is gonna be. But who the hell is gonna be catching the ball? They returned the one,
Faison,
and I
the
know,
lax player. He's a dog.
yeah, they returned Faison, and they returned I think one more guy, but like you Notre Dame typically, they're going to be pounding the rock like all the time, but you lose your two NFL running backs in the first round. You're talking about a team with huge hopes going into the season. I mean, you're talking about a quarterback who's literally the Heisman favorite, and all I hear about from all these Notre Dame fans is how their quarterback's him. They're going to get it done this year. This is the best chance they've had in forever. Who's going to make the play at the outside? That's going to be that's what I'm going to leave up in the air. I don't know who on that Notre Dame roster is going to make the play on the outside.
They did get a transfer from Ohio State that a lot of people were excited about in Columbus, Quincy Porter. I think he was a 5-star, 4-star probably, but other than that, yeah, you're right.
But yeah, I mean,
It's
you
a
look
good
you
point.
look at you look at the 4 and 5. I mean, every player on Notre Dame's a 4 and 5 star that played with receivers. So it's like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's gonna be interesting. But that's the only thing I do have to say is like for them to actually win the national championship because obviously they made it when they lost, but it kind of just was like with Riley Leonard, but it was kind of like they also couldn't throw the ball in that game. They was pounding the rock. They're going to need to be able to throw the ball on the outside, and with how good their quarterback is allegedly supposed to be, I don't think he's. gonna be bad. I just don't think he's gonna be as good as everyone's saying. I think it's a lot of Notre Dame hype, but we will see because I don't know who's gonna be throwing the ball to.
That is a great point. And I think we'll finish with that with this seventh edition of the College Football 2026 Player Profile Preview. We had Kenny Johnson, wide receiver from Texas Tech, Iverson Hooks, wide receiver at Oregon, John Nestor, cornerback out of Minnesota, and Rod Moore, the safety at Michigan. Josh, thanks for joining. We'll be back next week with, I'll let you choose positions for next week.
Oh, like right now, or you saying like let me text?
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. But I don't know. We kind of went off schedule here. We've covered all positions. Oh, we do have to fit in the special teams sometime
Let's go. All right, looks like we're on special teams next week.
next week.
Yeah.
All right, get ready to learn about some long snappers, place kickers, punters. You had a little return specialist today. A little tease.
Yeah, I did. It's nice. But I got a treat for next week.
Oh, you already know what you're gonna do.
I already on the top of my head. I already got it.
All right, that's a good tease for next week. All right, everyone, thanks for listening. Have a good weekend. Peace.